Hello. Today we're going to talk about police using Stingray, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute if you don't know. Um, we're going to talk about Homeland Security and Kristy Noem and the new rules, why it took so long to get aid to Texas. Um, and we're going to talk about Liberia and the Liberian president and um, Trump's embarrassing comments and obviously lack of knowledge. Um, Welcome to Marxisms. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you've never been here before, welcome. Hit the like and subscribe button, but please do not hit the notification button because notifications are annoying. So let's get into it today. Let's see. So the police are now have been using Stingray for at protests. Okay, so what this means, what Stingray is it's a program that basically mimics cell towers, and it puts out a more powerful signal than the cell towers generally do. So it picks it instead of the cell tower picking up your conversations or data from your phone, it's the police picking it up. So if you're at a protest and you bring your cell phone, they're going to be able to know that you were at that protest. They're going to know, a little bit about your activities. They're going to know if you text message anybody. Now, if you use Signal, they're not going to be able to um, see what you wrote. They're going to see that your phone will still come up, but since it's encrypted, it is not likely if you send a message over Signal, it's not likely to come up. But the idea is that then they're going to know where you're at, and they can track your movements and all that kind of stuff. So now, me personally, I mean, I'm outspoken, and I'm obviously showing my face, using my real name when I'm not one of these MAGA pussies that hides behind a fake name on Facebook and stuff like that. I use my real name. I own my shit. And unlike some of these guys, they don't do that. So I mean, I don't care if I do go to protests. All right, I peacefully protest. I do not commit violence. I've never been a violent person, and so I wouldn't do that. So I don't worry about that from that aspect. If they know I'm there, good. I want them to. I don't care. Because I feel this way. If I live in a country where I'm afraid to do things that are my constitutional right, then we have tyranny, which is I know that's where it's come. That's what it's gotten to, and that's what the way it is today. But I've been saying that for years. Like I said, I used to be a Republican, and a lot of times I've thought that, well, tyranny might just come from the left, but turns out it's not. It's coming from the right. And I'm not saying that the Democrats have been perfect. In fact, here's something I've been wanting to address anyway. The Democrats have helped get us to this point, and by saying that, they've used executive power increasingly, same as Republicans. And every time there's a new president, they push those boundaries. And so every time even a Democrat pushes those boundaries or a Republican, they set it up for the next party to push those boundaries even further. And of course, this guy's taking liberties and leaps and bounds, and it's just ridiculous. Well, we knew he was going to do this. If Project 2025 really spelled it out. Of course, everybody in MAGA goes, "Oh, that's just. He doesn't have anything to do with it. He doesn't even know about it." Oh, bullshit! It was his people that wrote it. Um, anyway, so um, yeah. So if you don't want to be identified, if you do not want your movements tracked, do not bring your cell phone. There's a reason why. Remember in the old days, you used to be able to take the battery out of your cell phone, and then it was just completely, nothing could be traced. It was just what I used to do. If I went somewhere that I didn't want anybody to know, which maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I would just, or I've definitely thought about if that was the case, I would definitely just simply take the battery out of the phone. Well, now you can't take the battery out of the phone. You think that's a coincidence? No, I don't think so. They did that on purpose because they not it might not have been the government, but even the cell phone companies and Google and stuff, they want to track your movements. They want to know everything about you. They want to have all your information. I mean, Facebook does this thing where they fake. They'll go, "Oh, looks like um, you violated something on Facebook," and they don't tell you what, and then they ask for your phone number, or they ask you to take a video of yourself to prove that you're a real person. Well, that's just to get your face on recognition. They say that they're going to delete it, but guess what? I don't think they are. I think that's just smoke and mirrors, and they're just trying to get all our information. Like I said, I don't really care. You could know who I am. I'll put my picture right up there, and my real name, and I own what I say. I'm not one of those MAGA cowards hiding behind fake Facebook profiles and stuff. Anyway, so the police and the Homeland Security and ICE, they have an enormous fund, and they have all kinds of money coming in now. 175 billion dollars now being allocated to the largest police force, a police force that has a larger budget than the Russian military, all of the Russian military combined. You remember Trump's friends? Let's talk about Trump in a little bit too. Um, so, oh yeah, that's why I want to talk about Trump. I want to talk about um, the RussiaGate thing because of what he's doing to Comey and Brennan. Anyway, um, there's a reason why he was investigated. There's good reason why. But anyway, so Kristy Noem and her department have cut funding or done cost cutting. And basically, anything over $100,000 now has to be approved and signed by Kristy Noem. You know Kristy Noem, the one who's tough on terrorists. I mean terriers. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one who shoots her dog because she doesn't know how to train a dog. The one that shoots her goats because apparently she thinks a goat can be trained too. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was with the goat, but I know why the dog was killed. The dog was killed because she got frustrated because she can't train a dog. And instead of taking that dog that supposedly couldn't be trained because she's incapable of training a dog, she takes the dog out and shoots it instead of taking it to some place where they could give it to some little girl who doesn't have a ranch and doesn't need to worry about ranch stuff. You know, there's other people told me, well, you don't know anything about ranching and ranch dogs, and I'm like, I know enough about dogs and I know that when they're not trained properly, it's the owner's fault. If a dog does something wrong, it's the owner's fault. It's your lack of training, it's your lack of understanding dog behavior that makes that happen. And some dogs are easier than others to train. That's definitely some dogs really want to please you and they will do the training really easily. I've had dogs like that, and I've had other dogs that were harder to train. But guess what? I've been able to train all of them. So I didn't have to take any out to shoot them, not one. Nor would I. I would never shoot a dog. That's just fucking heartless. I guess that's why they call her Ice Barbie. It's not just an acronym. It's what's in her heart, ice. Anyway, so they can use Stingray and they can spend all this money on ice, but they can't spend $100,000 without having that um, really horrible person's signature on it. She took 3 days to sign off on the money from Texas. See, now here's the thing about that $100,000 cap. That's like pennies when you're talking about a disaster. When it happens, they're billions of dollars, and so $100,000 is like that's like pennies, for the federal government. So that's just obscene. Maybe I could see if it was like, okay, if it reaches a million, a couple of $500 million or something, even that, but at least, have some kind of reasonable cap. And does she not understand? See, and that's the problem. These are DUI hires. These are just drunk people that don't know how to even train a dog. and then now they're in charge of departments in the federal government. They don't know anything. These people are as ignorant as that dumb fucker in the White House. They're stupid. Um, it's just it's unbelievable. So so now it's going to take days and days and days for anybody. If it was a blue state, God knows how many days it would take. This is a red state, and it took 3 days. They didn't, I mean, it was their fault to begin with because of all the cuts, all the budget cuts they've done, all the firings they've done. They didn't have people competent enough competent people in there to even predict that the rain was going to be the way it was and warn people. They didn't do it. They don't have that stuff available now because of Trump and his stupid Doge cutting. Um, so and then now let's get on to the ignorance of Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's got the Liberian president. I mean, this is just it was so cringe. It was ridiculous. So Trump's there with the Iberian president or Liberian no, 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 Liberian president, and Liberia is a nation in Africa, and and if anybody knows just a little bit of history, you would know that it was a place that was under the American Colonization Society in America. It wasn't a U.S. colony, but it was kind of a place where during actually Madison, I think, started this, but during the Lincoln years after the war, and we freed the rightfully freed the slaves in this country. Um, Being still racist, even Lincoln, they wanted to get instead of having these freed slaves here, they wanted to let's take them back to Africa. So they wanted to take them to Liberia. See, that's why Liberia has what looks like an American flag, except it has one star. It's almost identical, except it has one star in the blue field. Um, there's a reason for that because it was basically founded by the American Colonization Society, and where they sent over they repatriated black slaves to Africa, which was probably not where they came from, but at least they could, some of them went and said, okay, great, we could have a country of our own. Some of them chose to stay, a lot of them, because that's all they knew at this point. So, um, so Trump's with the president of Liberia, and he's just going, "Oh my God, you speak really good English. That's amazing. Where were you educated?" And he's laughing. He's going, "Liberia." And Trump says, "Oh, that's incredible. I mean, that's just that's amazing that you can speak such good English." Well, Trump, that's their language. They speak English because they're fucking former American slaves, descendants of. So that's all they knew. And there was a bunch of surrounding colonies like that too, like Mississippi of Africa and Kentucky of Africa, where they did the same thing, where they sent slaves, um, former slaves, to these countries, and they were all annexed by Liberia under one flag and one government because they all have a common interest and a common language, which is fucking English. You moron. I mean, it's incredible the stupidity. So he doesn't even know. I mean, I didn't even have to really look this up um, to do this part of my video here. This should be common knowledge. Americans, I know. Common knowledge, like common sense, is just not very common anymore, especially in this country. It's really, really sad. But the president of the United States, a guy that gets to that level, he should at least have some sense of American history. But this guy does not know American history. How do you become president of the United States? How do these idiots, these MAGA idiots, vote in a guy who who can't even? What was the letter? He wrote a letter recently that it's read to read it. It was like a fifth grader wrote it. It's the guy, and they've analyzed his speeches, and he has the speaking patterns of a 5-year-old. This guy's a moron. Trump is a moron, and this guy is leading the most powerful nation in the world. I mean, that is so scary. It just really is. And he has zero sense of U.S. history. It's like, where did you learn to speak English? Oh my God. How embarrassing. You could hear the guy laughing at him. It's like he wasn't laughing with him. He wasn't laughing because, oh, that's cute. He was laughing because, oh my God, is this guy this stupid? Really? God, what an embarrassment. It's just sad. So anyway, now they're to segue to something different. Um, Comey and the former FBI director and the former CIA director Brannon are now being investigated by this administration's DOJ, which is of course totally politicized, and over the Russia Gate thing. Well, I mean, it's long been known that Trump has ties to Russia, and it's pretty clear by the way he's kissed Putin's butt. He's mad at Putin now. They're having a little love tiff because Putin doesn't listen to him. Well, it's like he's never listened to you. You've always been his little bitch, not the other way around. You know, Trump is Putin's bitch, not Putin is not Trump's bitch. And so now Trump's all mad and it's like, oh, we're gonna bomb the shit out of Moscow and this and that. And it's like, well, hopefully that's just bluster because that would be just stupid. But now he's at least releasing munitions to Ukraine, which is good, which is what he should do. He should have done that all along because Putin is the aggressor. But see, the thing is that Trump has been because of the prostitute thing, I guess, partially. But that's what people think, so a lot of people think, but it goes back further. When he lost his daddy's fortune, that he inherited and then pissed away because he's a shitty business person, he's he got that money back by most accounts by money laundering for the Russian cartel. And so at least that's do I have evidence of that? No, I don't. But that's I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. I don't know. I mean, but it sure seems like it. It's been definitely widely whispered. There's been a lot of evidence that that's the case. The way he rents apartments, he does, they're undisclosed leases and stuff like that. Um, but that's what he did. I mean, he laundered money for the mob, probably the Russian mob, and that's what they got over him. They've got something over him. Either that or the rumors about him being a KGB asset were true. Maybe all of it's true. Maybe it's that. I don't think it's the prostitute thing because I mean we already know that Trump goes to prostitutes and porn stars and whatever. So that's nothing new. But there's some other ties there to Russia for sure. And so when they came up with some evidence that that was the case, it just made sense to investigate him. I was kind of skeptical about it at first, but then the more I've learned about it, it's like, yeah, yeah, he should have been investigated at the very least. But see, now this is what fascists do when investigate the investigators. They since these people did this to him, he's all about retribution. This is retribution. So now he's gonna go after them and probably trump something up. No pun intended. And and just make their lives miserable in the process. We know he's been convicted of felonies. He acts like, and MAGA acts like. I want MAGA's always guys are always going, oh, that's Joe Biden. He came up with these fake investigations. Like, no, he was indicted by a grand jury of his peers in New York. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden or any kind of vendetta against him. He was indicted and convicted by a jury of his peers. Those were juries of regular people. Those were not who heard evidence. Those were not people in the government. So that's just a red herring that MAGA, because people that are MAGA are pretty stupid and they're easily led, they're easily fooled, and so of course they're going to buy into this stuff and just go, oh yeah, Trump says this, so that's the way it is because he's our cult leader. Hail Trump, hail Trump. It's just ridiculous. So it's BS, and he's doing the same thing. He's just announced a 50% tariff on Brazil. Why? Because they prosecuted for similar crimes as Trump's committed, probably. Um, These guys got to stick together, against Bolsonaro. Well, why are we doing this? Why do we have these vendettas? It's like his whole administration is about vendettas against people. It's about getting revenge on Democrats, revenge on this or that, this person or that person. It's just, and so now it's going to be revenge against Putin which is fine with me because now at least we're on the right side of the Ukraine thing. I mean, it just makes no sense to me. This guy he's like a baby. He's like a narcissistic baby, and I know what it's like, what narcissists are like because I was married to one. And like the Petaluma Police Department, they think, oh yeah, you gaslighted her. It's like gaslighted her. She was she was tanking my fucking credit during our marriage while we were married, and then she was delaying the divorce so that I couldn't buy a real estate. She was holding up my money. She wouldn't sign a quit claim. She was holding up my money. I would have even not divorced her and just let her collect on my health insurance until I retired. If it wasn't for if she would have just signed a quit claim, I wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have mattered. But then I got in trouble for texting her. And then they say I was gaslighting her. And it's like, I was gaslighting her? How is that gaslighting? Trying to get my life back in my control, my money back in my control, my credit back under my control. But no, they side with Kathy Gearhart, the deadbeat narcissist. It's kind of funny because and I have evidence of all this, but she's a bookkeeper. She might even be a CPA now. I think that's what it says on her website. But she's just a narcissist. She's an abusive narcissist. That's all she did. All she did was stonewall me. But so I know what a narcissist is, and I know how they operate. There are two different kinds. There's actually a bunch of different kinds. There's a spectrum of them. Um, but there's two main kinds, and that's overt, like Trump, and there's covert, like Kathy. But anyway, so I know what a narcissist is, and they all kind of think the same. They just react differently. Is the thing. But that's what Trump is. He's a narcissist, and he's a dangerous person to have as the president of the United States. And we need to demand that elections are able to take place in next year, and we need to vote him out so that we need to vote the Congress out so we can impeach him. Is what we need to do. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Have a good day. Peace.